Today's lesson is about decimals. Now we already know that decimals are part of a whole, just like fractions. So we're going to talk a little bit about how decimals and fractions are similar. Take a look at this number right here. I'm with my friend Rachel. She's going to help me out with the decimals today. Now how would you say this number right here?
1.25.
Perfect. And we're going to use our handy-dandy place value chart to help us figure out what 1.25 really means. Now we've seen these before. The ones place, the tens place, hundreds, thousands, and so on. Now this line right here is going to represent our decimal point. And on the other side of the decimal point, we have tenths, hundredths, and thousands, and so on and so on. And the numbers get smaller and smaller. All these numbers end in th. So parts of a whole end in th, just like fractions. This fraction is 1 over 4, or what's another way to say it?
1/4.
1/4, exactly. 1/4 also ends in th. So numbers on that side of the decimal place end in th. So I'm going to put my 1 here in the ones place, the 2 in the tenths place, and the 5 in the hundredths place. So that's 1.25, or 1 25 hundredths. Got it?
Yeah.
Not too difficult. Now let's turn some decimals into fractions. Sound like fun?
Yeah.
Sure, why not? Now this 2 is in which place from the place value chart? Do you remember?
The tenths.
You have an excellent memory. Exactly. 2 tenths. We can write 2 tenths as a fraction also, because fractions also end in th. 2 tenths, right? Or 2 over 10. How about this one? The 5 is in the
Hundredths.
hundredths. Perfect. So it's going to be 5 100ths. And when you add 0.2 plus 0.05, you get 0.25, or
25 over 100.
excellent. Rachel is a genius when it comes to decimals and changing them into fractions. Now let's go the opposite way. We're going to flip it and reverse it. 2 over 10, we're going to turn a fraction into a decimal. What's another way to say 2 over 10?
2 tenths.
Perfect, exactly. So I'm going to do the same thing over here and put 2 in the tenths place. And I don't have any whole numbers, I just have a part of a whole, so I'm going to put a 0 here. 0 in the ones place, 2 in the tenths place. Now we know how to change decimals into fractions and fractions into decimals. Let's move on and take a look at this. Another way to think about decimals is money, okay? Our first decimal was 1.25. We use decimals every day. If I put a dollar sign in front of this right here, all of a sudden instead of just 1.25, it's
$1.25.
exactly. We use decimals every day when we talk about money. $1.25. And again, 25 was going all the way to the hundredths place. 25 out of a possible 100 cents. So now 1 and 25 hundredths, or $1.25, it seems to make sense to us, right?
Yeah.
Let's take a look at this right here. 0.5, 5 is in the tenths place. How many dimes are there in a dollar?
10.
Exactly, 10 dimes in a dollar. If I have 5 in that tenths place, 5 dimes, how much money is that?
50 cents.
5 dimes is 50 cents. So if I had a 0 here, 0.5, or 5 in my tenths place, is the same as 50 cents. This is all just to show you that you can add, when we're dealing with decimals, you can add a 0 to the end of any decimal, and it doesn't change the value of it. Therefore, 0.5 equals 0.50, the same thing. However, important to remember, 0.5 does not equal 0.05, just like 50 cents does not equal 5 cents.
Okay.
Easy to remember.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're going to do some addition. 2.5 plus 3.75, and we're going to use this place value chart to help us.
Okay.
Where would I put the 2 in this 2.5?
In the ones.
Perfect. Boom, right there. And remember, this line equals our decimal point, and the 5 goes in our tenths place. We're going to add that to 3.75. Once again, we're going to line up our decimal place. Decimals line up right on top of each other, 7.5, and our equal sign is right here. Now let's put something in as a placeholder. Remember how I said we could add a 0 and it wouldn't change the value?
Yeah.
So where would I put a 0?
By the 5, right there.
Perfect, exactly. Going to put that there, and now we just add them. 0 plus 5 is 5, 5 plus 7 is 12, carry the 1, 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 6. Are we done?
No, because you need to put the decimal.
The girl's a genius. Put the decimal place right there. 6.25 is the answer. Now we're going to do, subtraction. Seem a little scary?
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be. We just do the same exact thing. We're going to line up our decimal place. 2, 3.76, and the decimal points line up once again. Minus 5.2. And there's our equal sign. I'm going to put a 0 in here again as a placeholder. It doesn't change the value of that. 5.2 is still the same as 5.20. And now we just subtract. 6 minus 0 is 6. 7 minus 2 is 5. 3 minus 5,
You can't do that.
What do I have to do?
You have to borrow from your 2.
You should be teaching me. So we borrow from the 2. That turns into a 1. Now it's 13 minus 5. 8. 1 minus nothing. It's 18. And I'm done, right?
No.
What?
Your decimal.
Got it. We got to drop the decimal point down. 18.56. And that's really all there is to it. Now you know how to change a decimal into a fraction, how to change a fraction into a decimal, and how to add and subtract decimals. Now it's your turn. Do some problems on your own, and don't forget, line up your decimal points right on top of each other before you add or subtract. Go for it and get ahead.